Hi, this is Mrs. Robertson, and today we are going to be doing Chapter 7, Lesson 3, Solve and Write Subtraction Equations. This lesson starts on page 535. So open your books up to we're going to go to page 536. We're going to skip this part and begin with page 536. Solve an equation by adding. Because addition and subtraction are inverse operations, you can solve a subtraction equation by adding. Let's look at example 1. Solve x minus 2 equals 3. Then check your solution. All right, so we have here a subtraction problem. To undo subtraction, you will add 2. Adding 2 to both sides balances the equation. That cancels that out, and you have isolated your x variable. 3 plus 2 equals 5. The answer is x equals 5. Then you have to do the check step. Just replace the variable x with what you found it to be, 5. 5 minus 2, does it equal 3? Yes, it does, and you put a check. Let's now show our work for how to do A, B, and C. There's plenty of room for you to show this here on page 536. To undo subtracting 7, you add 7 to this side, add 7 to that side. Draw your answer bar, and this cancels the 7 out. You now have x equals 11 because 4 plus 7 is 11. Now let's do the check step. Does 11 minus 7 equal 4? Yes, it does. So over here you're going to put x equals 11. Not just 11, x equals 11. Now let's do letter B. To undo subtracting 6, add 6, add 6. You must balance your equation by putting an add 6 on each side. If you want to, you can put an equal sign. Adding 6 equals adding 6. Now you must bring your equal sign down here. This cancels, and you end up with y equals 14. Now let's do our check step. Does 14 minus 6 equal 8? Why, yes, it does. Now let's do letter C. In this problem, we are subtracting 5. To undo subtracting 5, you add 5 and add 5. Adding 5 is the same thing as adding 5. We are balancing the equation. Cancel. You have 14 equals A. Now it's time for the check step. Does 9 equal 14 minus 5? Why, yes, it does. So let's put our answers here. You could put 14 equals A or A equals 14. They both would be true. Now let's go to page 437. On this page, it talks about the addition property of equality. All right, that's what we were just doing. If you add the same number to each side of an equation, the two sides remain equal. And that's what we just did. And that is the addition property of equality. Now let's look at some word problems and what to do for these. Okay, so in example number 2, it says, at age 25, German Titov of Russia was the youngest person to travel into space. This is 52 years less than the oldest person to travel in space, who was John Glenn. How old was John Glenn? Write and solve a subtraction equation. Words. Oldest minus youngest equals 52. All right. Here they're going to use, it tells you to let A represent the oldest age in space. There you are identifying your variable. All right. Age A, and A will be A minus 25 equals 52. All right. Sometimes it's more confusing when you look at the bar diagrams than when you just write out your equation. You know that John Glenn, A, minus 25 gives you 52. To solve for this equation, you just add 25 to both sides, and you will get the answer A equals 77. So John Glenn was 77 years old. That does seem old for an astronaut. Okay, now let's go on to letter D, where you're going to solve this problem. Here we go. It says, Georgia's height is 4 inches less than Sienna's height. Georgia is 58 inches tall. Write and solve a subtraction equation to find her height. Now they do say they want a subtraction equation. So in this one we are going to have to do that. First I'm going to define my variable. H equals Sienna's height. Now I'm going to write my equation. The subtraction equation is going to be her height minus 4 equals 58. There's the equation. So yes. Now we're going to solve the equation. Add 4, add 4. H equals 62 inches. So the answer for D is 62 inches. Did we do everything that it's asked? Let's go back and check. Yes, we did write an equation, a subtraction equation, and we have solved it. So we've taken care of everything that it wanted, and the answer is 62 inches. Let's go to page 538 and look at example number 3. In example 3, it says, Raheem's rollerblades cost $70.25 less than his bicycle. His rollerblades cost $43.50. How much did his bicycle cost? Write and solve a subtraction equation. All right, so here they've defined the variable B to equal cost of the bicycle. All right. So to write a subtraction, we know the bicycle minus $70.25 equals the price of the rollerblades, $43.50. Add $70.25 to undo the subtraction, and you end up with B equals $113.75. Now let's do the guided practice together. In question number 1, you have to show your work here. To undo subtracting 5, let me get this straight. Okay, I think I just about have it. To undo subtracting 5, let's focus there. Add 5, add 5. Draw your line and cancel. This cancels out. So we have A left equals 14. Now we have to do the check step. Does 14 minus 5 equal 9? Yes, it does. All right, to undo subtracting 3, add 3, add 3. Draw your line. That cancels it out. Bring down the equal sign. You have B left equals 10. Circle your answer for B. Now, does 10 minus 3 equal 7? Yes, it does. Now let's go on to number 3. To undo subtracting 8, add 8, add add 8, because adding 8 to both sides of the equal sign balances it. So now you have 12, don't forget to draw the line, 12 equals y. Now the check step. We have 4 equals, replace y with 12, minus 8. Does 12 minus 8 equal 4? Why, yes, it does. Now let's do number 4. Catherine studied 1 25/100 hours for her science test. This was 5/10 of an hour less than she studied for her algebra test. Write and solve a subtraction equation to find how long she studied for her algebra test. Well, here it does ask that we write a subtraction equation, so let's do that right now. On this problem, I'm going to determine that I'm going to use the variable equals A equals algebra test. All right, so that's the variable I'm going to use. And I'm going to write A minus 0 5/10 equals 1 25/100. That is my equation. Remember, equations have equal signs. Now I'm going to add 5/10 to both sides. That cancels it out. And we end up with A equals 1 75/100. So the answer is 1.75 hours. All right. Now, what would I like for you to do with homework? Okay, so your homework assignment for tomorrow is going to be to do page 539. And I would like for you to do 1 to 13. Show your work. I will have, we're going to be meeting, you will have already met for your Zoom session before this video. If you have any questions, please join my Zoom session if you have a question on the homework. Otherwise, you can save your questions for tomorrow morning's early Zoom session. Have a good day.